Hey, it's Heidi Dawson, and this is Wednesday Wisdom, where I interview wildly successful people from across the world, where we get an inside view into what their daily life looks like. Success leaves clues, and on Wednesdays, we're finding them. Join me now for the latest wildly successful interview. Hi, guys. Welcome to the 61st episode of the Wildly Successful Lifestyle Podcast. And welcome to Wednesday Wisdom. Today I have Johane Ligonde, which I absolutely love that beautiful name. But she is the founder of Joyous Leader International. And she has spent almost 2 decades helping young people, teachers, and leaders create joyous spaces in their lives that nurture the heart as well as the brain, and to accomplish the highest levels of success, which I love that. And she believes that internal change is the impetus to systemic change, which I absolutely adore that statement. She's presented to members of Congress on practical life skills and mindfulness tools to effectively combat trauma and stress suffered by students, which she's probably been dealing with a lot of that lately. Her resume is super impressive, but honestly, I follow her on Instagram and she has a lightness about her that I was drawn to. And I'm so excited to get to chat with her today. So without further ado, welcome, Johane.
Hey, Heidi. Hello, everybody. I'm just so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. You're such a beautiful soul.
Oh, thank you so much for coming and joining. You do as well. And that was the one thing, of course, you have a wonderful resume just full of interesting things and things that I love to talk about, but also your Instagram. I connected with your smile. I don't know, there's something about it. So I was really excited when you said yes to come join me. So I know that it is dinner time where you are. So we're going to jump right into these questions so that I can get you some dinner.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I always love finding out about people's sort of morning routines. And I want to know what your morning routine is. Do you have one? I know it's probably an early one, but it's something that works best for you and for feeling joy in the morning.
So I'm just so excited that you mentioned that, because I'm also a believer in routines and rituals, because without routines and rituals, we're not really intentional with what it is that we're doing with our lives, right? So the first hour in the morning is the sacred hour for me. And sometimes that's 4:30. And at times that's 5:30 in the morning, but whatever that time is for you. So for me, when I wake up in the morning, I engage in what I call the sacred 7.
Okay.
So 7 practices that I engage in throughout the day, 3 mostly in the morning. So first thing, I open my eyes. I have trained myself to list my gratefulness and my gratitude list. So I create a gratitude list literally in my brain. I wake up in the morning and my prayer is, thank God for waking me up this morning. Thank God that I am awake on time. And I have fun with it, right? And sometimes I'm like, okay, God, it's like I'm able to move. And, for me, it's God. For somebody else, it could be something different, right? Maybe a higher power, a consciousness, or the universe, or nature, whatever it is, know. But for me, that's my faith, right? And then the second thing I do is I move my body. As silly as it sounds, even if you dance to your favorite song, right? You do 10 jumping jacks, you've got to get the blood flowing. The body needs movement. I like to say energy begets energy. And so you've got to get energy out to receive energy back. So move your body. After I move my body, and sometimes it's as little as 12 minutes. Sometimes, don't tell anybody. Wait, I'm telling the whole world.
You're telling everybody.
It's as little as like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Enough for, but I have to do it. So I share that to say that sometimes it's 1 hour, 12 minutes, or 1 minute, or 3 minutes, to say that you just got to do it.
Right.
You just have to engage in the routine every single day.
Creating the routine.
Creating the routine is creating a habit, and it has to be done daily.
Yes, so we've got gratitude. Not so much about the time as it is the routine, because if you get the routine down, a lot of times that time doesn't matter.
There we go. Because then it becomes where your body's craving it, your mind is craving it, your soul is craving it, and you create the time for it because you see the value in it. So I love my heart racing in the morning when I move my body. And then I get into a relaxed mode where I do engage in prayer and meditation. I do prayer, breath work, meditation. And part of that is really giving me that time to set an intention. Sometimes it's reading a Bible passage. Sometimes it's reading from Prayers for Peace. Sometimes it's a Marianne Williamson quote. Sometimes it's a Course in Miracles. It's really whatever's feeding you right in the morning, and setting the intention for the day. And that's that quiet space. For some, it may just be a moment of silence. Right. And that's all it is. And then as I go through my day, I make sure that I connect with others. So the fourth pillar is it's important to connect with others, right? Who did you not text? Who did you not respond to? Because connection really creates greater sense of joy.
You know what? That is so true. And that's, I have a lot of times heard the grateful, the meditation, and from a lot of the people that are so successful, they do that. And it's so important to get that day started right. But I love the connection part. I'm a connector. I love to be able to, and that's why it's been kind of tough, when you work from home or when people are having to be isolated, it's been a little bit tough. So I like that where you connect, like, who did you not text back? Because sometimes you forget.
That's right.
I love that. Okay, good.
And then laughing out loud.
Okay.
It's literally like, it's important for you to laugh out loud. So even if you have to fake it till you make it, just
okay, yeah, but those are real laughs. But now look, so how do you laugh out loud in the morning? Like, do you?
So laughing out loud is really, I laugh out loud in the morning, and then I laugh out loud throughout the day.
Throughout the day.
It's really throughout the day. Sometimes it's very intentional. If I'm having a really stressful day, I literally look for a comedy show.
Okay. See, I do the same thing. I love that. I do the same thing. And now that you're saying it, it really it makes sense to me, because so many times I'm like, well, why do I gear towards comedy show, like a stand-up comedy or something? It's because I want to laugh. That's exactly right. Yeah. Okay. I love
it. It releases stress. It does so much for the soul, and you feel lighter.
Yeah.
And so, because as we go through the day, it becomes very, very heavy.
It does.
And the sixth thing is feed yourself. Feed yourself with good foods, the colors of the rainbow, making sure that in the morning the food is not so heavy, right? You may want to go a little bit lighter. A glass of water and some lemon juice or lemon oil, grapefruit oil, or figuring out
that feeds your body.
Feeds your body, literally feed your body. So we go from the concrete of feeding one's body to really kind of like the abstract, to reading a good book, reading a good passage, reading a good quote, not just watching the news. So as you go throughout the day, so these practices that you begin in the morning really continue throughout the day.
Right. I love that. So many times, if you start your day, it really does set the tone for the entire day. And if I get up and, look at the news or immediately, it just seems to just deflate, especially now. It just is like, oh my gosh, it just is such a weight. So I love that you don't start doing that right out.
Yeah, we don't start that. And really setting an intention to feed others.
Okay.
Setting an intention to be of service.
7, then?
That's number 7. Number 7 is feed others. Right? And that's the sense of service.
That's what I felt and got from your Instagram. I felt like you were that type of person that does that, where you really do care and genuinely feed others, just like you said, and inspire them.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. You picked that up, and I picked the same up from you as well. It's all about intention, where we place our intention, and we place our attention on it, then it manifests.
Okay. So give attention.
Saying that means that it's manifesting. It's intention, attention, and manifestation. So now we're going to go over all 7 of those. Move your body.
Okay.
Breathe and meditate.
Yes.
Laugh out loud. Be grateful and pray.
Yes.
Feed yourself, connect with others, and feed others. So those are 7 the 7 practices that I'm really mindful of in the morning and throughout the day. The 3 core practices in the morning for me are being grateful and praying, breathing and meditating, and moving my body and feeding myself, because
Those are the 3 things you do. If you don't
every
do
morning,
that,
no matter what. And throughout the day,
you
I
do the
I
other.
really anchor myself around the other 4.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I mean, and that's a beautiful practice. It's really gets your day started to where you can't. I mean, at least you're getting the day started right, you know. So now you say that when we ignore, this is from your website, that when we ignore our own well-being, we are unable to be the best that we can be. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So how do you encourage people to care for themselves? I mean, do you have a strategy that works for everyone, or is it something that you have found that needs to be customized?
I think there is a strategy for transformation. The first step to transformation is self-observation,
Okay.
self-assessment.
Self-assessment.
Really, where are you right now? Yeah, self-observation. First, you have to observe yourself without criticism.
Oh, that's so true. Yeah. So you
Right?
have to know where you are.
Right.
Yes. Okay. I love that. Okay. So the first thing is self-assessment.
Yeah, self-assessment. Like, where am I? Am I satisfied with it? And by looking at the results,
Right.
the result is, are you feeling happy?
Yeah.
Are you feeling peaceful? Are you feeling satisfied? Are you feeling abundant?
Okay.
Are you abundant? Are you successful? Right? By looking at those results, you're then able to say, you know what? Maybe I need to do something about this.
Right. Right. If you're not feeling satisfied or
Right.
abundant or peaceful. Okay. So then so do you have 3, right?
Right. So the first one is self-observation. And the
Okay.
second thing is, where would you like to be? Have a very clear vision. So the
Yeah. Yeah.
second is clear vision. Do you have a clear vision of where you'd like to be, of how you'd like to feel,
Yes.
of who you'd like to actually be? And
Oh,
you
that's
can be, because it's really within, right?
yeah. So crucial to know that, because a lot of times we go through life and we're just like, oh, I'm not happy, or this isn't going right, and it's just like, well, do you really know what makes you happy? Because if you don't, then if you
Who's
don't,
gonna know?
how's your partner going to make you happy? You have to make
That's right.
yourself happy. You have to know. I love that. Okay. So
That's right.
self,
And then the next one is detachment.
okay. Oh,
Detach
okay.
yourself from the things that no longer work. And it's really a dual, right? It's detachment and attachment. So first is, you have a clear vision, and whatever is not in alignment with that vision, you have to detach yourself from.
Okay.
Right? Detaching means that it still exists, it's still there,
Okay.
but you're just choosing to put your focus on what actually works, and that's the attachment.
I love that. Yeah. So detach so give us an example of that.
So I'll give you an example just in terms of behavior. Right. So I wake up in the morning. We'll talk about the morning routine. And I wake up in the morning, and I don't do anything. I get up and I have bacon, eggs, and cheese and bagels and all of that. And I feel a real sense of heaviness, and I want to go back to bed.
Right.
Right? So that's a sense of behavior, to
Right.
say, well, let me assess what is that impact having on me. For some people, they can have that.
Right.
Right.
Now that's
But
true.
for me, I can't have that.
Right.
So I'm going to detach myself from that, because when I look at the results, I know that my spirit is low, my energy is low. So I'm going to change the behavior and attach myself to a behavior that actually works.
I love that. Okay, that's
I'll
great.
give you another example would be
Okay.
just in terms of emotions, right? So
Okay.
someone does something to me, and my reaction is anger.
All right.
Now, I stay in that anger, and I remain angry, and I get more angry,
Mm-hmm.
and I just keep feeding off of it. But if I detach myself, I'm saying, you know what, this is not about me.
Right.
This is not. I'm not going to take it personally. This is not about me. I'm going to
Oh, that's the
detach
hardest
myself.
thing. That's the
Right?
hardest thing,
Yeah.
is not taking.
Yeah. I'm going to detach myself from that. I'm going to then attach myself to where I'd like to be. With this person, I'd really like to have a better relationship. So I'll be a better listener.
Okay. All right.
Right? So really attaching yourself to where you'd like to be
You
versus,
know, so
yeah,
true. So true, because our minds want drama, right? And if we go for that drama, then it'll just keep multiplying. And if you kind of defuse it. I like that a lot. If you defuse it and just say, I choose not to respond to that, or I choose not to react to that, because you have control of that. That's the only thing you have control.
The only thing we have control of is ourselves. I always say, I say to my students, my clients, you can control your thoughts,
yes,
your words, your emotions, and your actions.
That's it.
And because you can control them, you are fully responsible for them. You are fully responsible for what you think, what you feel.
Yes.
Ouch. I know.
You don't want to admit
what you say and what you do, and what you do. Yes.
Oh, we so want someone else to be at fault, or that's their fault. They made me do it. And it's like, well, okay. If you want to be, a victim or whatever, you can keep saying that, but you want to feel good. You control that. And so you have to decide how you're going to respond or react. I love that. That's
right. And that doesn't mean that pain is not going to be there. Pain is different from suffering.
Okay. Pain
is different from suffering. So someone does something to me that hurts, I'm going to feel pain.
Right.
However, if I live in that pain,
yes,
and just keep just focusing on it, then who's suffering? There's got to be a point where I make a decision.
Really great distinction, Johane, because sometimes we think, oh, well, we shouldn't feel the pain, or we should be, impervious to it. Well, that is not real. That's not real. So I like that you said that. Feel the pain, but don't live there.
Don't live there. Right. It's not your emotional home. And then at that point, once you feel the pain, then you realize, wait a minute, I have a choice.
Yeah.
I have a choice. And that's when you go back to self-observation.
Okay.
You go back to self-observation to say, okay, how should I respond? How am I responding? And who's suffering?
Right.
I'm suffering. If I choose to stay with that pain and let that pain live in me, or me live in that pain, I'm going to suffer. And I don't want to suffer.
No.
And because I want to suffer, I have choices. So see, the human being has choices. I have a choice. I have a choice to forgive and release and let go.
Yeah.
And accept. Or I have a choice to stay where I'm at, stay stagnant,
right,
and stay with that pain. So I know on a daily basis, minute by minute, second by second, we have to make a choice. We have to make a choice to either accept, let go, take action, right? Many people, what they think that accepting it means that I'm not taking action. If I accept you, or if I accept the situation, it's passive. No, acceptance is the greatest action you can take, because without accepting something, you can't move on.
Yeah. So when you have a situation that you can't get away from, but and it's part of your life, and you accept it, and then you take action. So what does that look like? Like accepting and taking action?
Yeah. So what that looks like is knowing that so let's say there is let's talk real. All right.
Yeah, let's
do it. Okay. We're going to give an example. Is there something in you that you'd like to change? For me, it's impatience.
Okay.
For me, it's impatience, right? If I don't accept my impatience, I can't really move on to choose what to focus on, to choose on focusing on patience.
Right.
Right. But if I keep focusing on I'm impatient, I keep beating myself up, I'm still suffering.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm unable to accept the fact that impatience is just a part of me.
Right. Right.
It's just a part of me. However, patience is also a part of me. So I'm going to detach myself from impatience, and I'm going to attach myself to patience so I can cultivate more of it. It's that intention, attention, manifestation. So you can see all of these. I'm not making those things up. The beautiful thing about the knowledge is this is ancient knowledge that so many amazing teachers have taught us, right? That we are made up of both.
Right. It's so good to hear, because sometimes we forget, or growing up, we don't necessarily get taught that in school, that we control ourselves, and we control our thoughts, and we control our feelings. And if we have a feeling like impatience, or anger, and you live there, that's creating your own reality of pain and anger and impatience, but when you recognize it, and you're not saying ignore it. You're saying feel it, but realize that it's not serving you, and maybe work for a better feeling.
Right. And really interrogate it.
Okay.
Interrogate it. Ask it
Yeah.
some questions.
All
You
right.
know, what part of it is, what's making me feel impatient?
Right.
What's causing this
What's
pain?
causing that impatience? What is it? Yeah, you got to get to the
What is
root
it?
problem.
Right. And sometimes it's like, okay, I have no idea. That's fine. Then you let it go. And it's okay for you not to know. I think we are so inquisitive. We want to know. Sometimes the answer is right there. Other times it's just a matter of shifting the attention to, you know what? I'm going to focus on patience because that's what I'd like to cultivate.
Right. Okay.
Because there are times that, right?
Focus on what you want and you'll get more of that.
There we
Instead
go.
of beating yourself up like we do, and I think women are especially great at it. We excel at beating ourselves up. Just look at the opposite of that. So, like you say, patience as opposed to impatience, and focus on how do you be more patient.
That's right.
I love it. I love that
And,
so
and
much.
and part of what we're doing is we're revealing that what's behind the curtain, per
Mhm.
se.
Yeah.
We see these amazing teachers and we think that, oh, life is perfect. No.
I know.
No one's life is completely perfect.
No,
Our lives are completely imperfectly perfect.
yes, I just did a podcast on Monday, and it was talking about how, we see what people want to show us, and especially in the day of social media, we see their perfect life, and so many times, their perfect life is probably perfect to them, but they still have problems. And
Right.
what they're showing may not be what they're living, so you have to just live your perfect life, and it isn't going to be perfect all the time, and nobody's is. And the older I get, the more I realize how that is okay. It's okay. I could talk to you, and we haven't even gotten to number 3 yet. I could talk to you all night. You're never going to get to hear we keep this up.
Oh, that's great.
All right, so I want to talk to you about this because I saw this online and I love this so much. You've been coached by Anthony Robbins, and I am a Tony Robbins girl. So, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm always so happy because so many times when I do research on people that I want to interview or I think I want to interview them, so many times Tony Robbins is part of their life. So I love that. Now, have you been to UPW? Have you been to?
Oh, yes.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Okay.
I did the UPW virtual.
Okay.
I flew
Okay.
out to California to do strategic coaching.
Oh my
So it's
gosh.
been, yeah, so
Wow.
that's how so I have been trained by John Maxwell, Tony Robbins, and it's just,
Wow.
they're the best teachers,
Oh, I
John
know.
Maxwell, certainly for leadership and in that space. And there's
Yeah.
also, there's a spiritual aspect to John Maxwell as well. And now Tony Robbins is evolving, and I'm loving his spiritual side now. Are you
Yeah.
loving him or
Yeah.
what?
I do. I love, 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 love where he's going. I love
Yeah.
everything he's putting out. I love so, so much. Um, I went through Mastery University with him. So I've been to his island in Fiji and did the fast, which was
Oh,
insane.
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. I loved it, but I have not done his coaching. But I always feel like my husband's actually we met at a Tony Robbins seminar. Believe
Oh,
it or not, my husband and I met in California at a Tony Robbins seminar. But he has been through a lot of Tony's coaching, and I would love to, but I don't know. It's not been there yet for me. I haven't been driven to do that yet. So that's so
right.
awesome. All right. So now your message is pretty clear that wellness of mind, body, and soul will create greater self satisfaction, whether you're at the top of your game or whether you're experiencing some sort of distress, which we all are at some point. So I love this. I love it because oftentimes people have asked me or my husband, like, why are you doing self-help? It seems like you have your life together. And I mean, I think everyone at some point needs a coach. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that. I could not agree more. And as
Right.
a matter of fact, the secret is
Yeah.
the people who don't think they need a coach are the people who desperately need a coach.
So true.
I was one of those
No,
people.
I agree. But see, here's the thing. It's like you can get so much further, so much faster because nobody knows everything. And sometimes you have inside you what you need. And all it needs to do is come out. And a lot of times that's what coaches are trained to do. I'm sure you know how to do that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really our job is to train and equip people
Right.
really about self-discovery,
Yes.
because the self-discovery will absolutely create self-success and success for others as well. Why? Because you have greater clarity of mind. You have peace of mind. You have
Yes.
peace of heart. You're living a joyous life. And creativity and innovation actually come from a clear mind.
Oh,
So
100%.
if we're
Clarity.
right, if we're
I love
clarity,
that.
if we're so stressed all of the time because I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, how can you be creative in your business? How can you be innovative?
I cannot be creative. In fact, I almost sometimes feel like I just absolutely stall if I'm stressed. So I try not to get myself super stressed. Like I meditate every day as well. And I have found myself like I'm so calm in situations that I didn't used to be calm in, and I think it absolutely has come from being able to meditate and just understand that, okay, all right, just breathe. There's nothing serious, nothing, horrible is going to happen right now. So, anyway, I love that. And it kind of moves us into the next question that I really wanted to talk to you about, too, is that you're pretty open about what seems like maybe a little bit of a breakdown that you had in your car one day. You talk about that on your
Oh
website.
yeah, with my mascara
Yes,
running.
like this mascara running down. No, I
Oh
mean,
my
I've never had
goodness.
those. Only like 100,000 of them. But okay, so you have had immense success, lots of accolades, and from the outside, it looked like you had it all, but inside, you said you were missing joy. So now I can tell all over your face that you have found it. So how have you come to find joy?
Oh,
How did you do
thank you
that?
so
For
much.
everyone out there that
Yes.
wants to tell us. I
You
have joy
know,
as well, but not all the
through
time. I mean, sometimes you have to find it. So tell
yeah, and it's really discovering it within, realizing that focusing on the outside is not helping me to see, is not filling what is missing on the inside.
like
And
buying
what I thought was missing on the inside is actually not missing. I just couldn't see it.
okay. It's
And
there.
that it's there.
And
And
is
I
that
just
there
couldn't
for everyone? It's there for
it's
everyone.
there for everybody. I truly believe, that is my belief, that
Yes.
joy is there for everybody. It's inside.
Right.
And we just have to be willing to do the work. So for me, my work was really in service,
Yes.
right? It was
Uh-huh.
just like I was giving, but I really did go through that process that we talked about earlier of self-observation
Yes.
to really assess my needs,
Okay.
assess my desires, and create a clear vision for my life. Joy wasn't even a part of it. What are you talking? I'm successful. I am
Right.
leading this.
Look at me. I've got, I'm very successful. I should be happy. I have
Right.
a lot of money. I should be happy.
I should be happy. And why aren't I happy? Right. And so many my clients actually are mostly high achieving
Right.
women
Yes.
who make all of the money in the world,
Yep.
and who find themselves feeling unfulfilled,
Right. Right.
and part of that comes from a disconnection from themselves, a disconnection from their own womanhood, a
Yes.
disconnection from what it feels like to be. So
Yes.
we know what to do,
Right.
but we don't know how to be.
Right. So do you think it's a correlation between um, because you're obviously a feminine woman, you seem very, and I am as well. And I think we all have feminine and masculine in us. Do you think that is trying to be so like work, 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 work and career oriented? Because I love my career, but sometimes, that when you get to a certain level, you're kind of like, okay, that isn't it. Let's keep going. You have to realize that in order to be happy, you have to have it inside, like you
You
said.
have to have it inside. And when you travel the world, you realize that there are people who are living lives that we couldn't even imagine living.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They don't have the many things that we have. They don't have the comforts that we have, yet they
Right.
have the most immeasurable joy
Yes.
that one could ever experience. And
Yes.
they will offer you the least of what they have.
No, it's so true. Is it was it Tony? I think it's Tony Robbins that said that he was talking to, or one of somebody that he was coaching was talking to one of the Fijians,
Mhm.
and he said, what are you working so hard for? And the guy goes, so that I can come here and fish and do things just like you. And the Fijian was like, I do that every day, and I have
That's right.
money. And it's like, oh, okay, right. So where do you go from there? It's so true though. We sometimes, and I think it's an American thing. I mean, and I love Americans, we are hard workers, but I think sometimes we are strivers. We always work,
Right.
work, work, and we forget that what really makes us happy is inside of us. And that's why I'm
Yeah.
so on a mission to make sure everyone understands it. And I think you do as well. I think we all are born with a purpose, and we have to find that purpose.
Right.
Don't
Right.
you think, on the inside?
Absolutely. I love that you said that, Heidi. I mean, this is so beautiful. We're all born with a purpose, and we're all born with joy too.
Right.
Look at a newborn baby.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, I
Yes.
mean, just looking at the precious life, you can tell,
I
okay, I
know.
wasn't born that way, right? Um, and so really just appreciating what we were born with,
Right.
all of the gifts and talents.
Yeah.
And when we think about what we can do now, living in the present moment
Okay.
helps us with that.
Yeah.
One of the things that really helped me to discover my joy, certainly going through the process of observing myself, having a clear vision for what I wanted, detaching myself from what no longer worked and attaching myself to the things I actually wanted, was gratitude. So I call gratitude the bridge.
Okay. Gratitude.
Gratitude is the bridge that fills the gap between where you are and where you want to be.
Gratitude is the key, is what you're saying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. Gratitude is the key, because oftentimes we feel so dissatisfied because we're not looking at the things we actually have.
Oh, you're
We're looking for the things that we're seeking
so right.
that
So
we don't have yet, but then not looking at what we actually have. And I think the season of time that we're in right now, 2020, is definitely bringing clarity to all of that.
I think everybody is self-reflecting. I think they're in phase one of your transformation, which is self-observation. I think 2020 is about that. For the entire world is self-observing. So we need to get like that next step, which is a clear vision, which is clarity. That's right. And what you're saying is so true. And 2020 is doing that. It's kind of forcing us to do that. Um,
Isn't that beautiful
I
though? When you
know it
think
really
about 2020, 2020 is all about clear vision, right? I mean, 2020
I
eyesight,
know.
20.
Yeah, I can, yeah, 2020, isn't that funny? I'm glad you brought that up. I saw that one point, and now it just came up again because you said it. 2020 is giving us clear vision. I love it.
So it's up to us to really create. This is the time.
Right,
This is the time to truly create, to
right,
say, what do I want to be? How do I reactivate who I am? Because I already am that,
right, right. How do
right?
I
I already
reactivate
am
it?
that.
I
And
love
how do I
the
bring it
way you
into
said.
awareness?
Yes, yes. Okay. All right. Well, so now what would you say to someone, because so often you say reactivate, but how would you speak to someone that feels stuck? Because a lot of times people are living in a place where they feel stuck. They don't feel like they can get out of where they are, and their life doesn't bring them joy. Are there things that we can do to feel more joy without jumping ship, or moving the boat in a different direction somehow? You know,
Yeah.
sometimes people are like, "Well, I just need to throw my whole life away and just go, move on to this next thing."
Make a list. I say gratitude list. I mean, again,
All
gratitude
goes
was
back to
my key.
gratitude. I don't
So it
disagree with
all
that.
goes back to, okay, and I'll put it in kind of like plain English.
Yes,
What do
please.
you have in your life that you're thankful for, right? Like, just like plain English. I
Yes,
mean, we say gratitude, we say gratefulness, but what are the blessings in your life? What are the good things in your life? Anything good in your life? I mean, there was a point where I was just like, I thank God that I have 5 fingers.
right, right,
Just
right.
start with concrete. Like, I am thankful that I have a voice. I am thankful that, that I have a working mind. I am thankful for my job.
Yes,
Just being real, just really starting with that list, and then take the smallest action that would bring you closer to your dream. Oftentimes we think we have to take a whole leap of faith, like a whole, no,
That's
just
great.
start doing, you're just building on, let's build some currency here, right?
Right.
So first you wake up in the morning, the first action is, you know what, this morning I'm going to make my gratitude list and see how I feel.
Right.
Tomorrow I'll do it for 7 days.
Right.
Start with that.
You know what? You're saying that, and that's so interesting. I just started using the Calm app. Do you use the Calm app by any chance?
No, no.
Okay, so there is a gratefulness
Mm.
meditation in the Calm app that is a 7-day gratefulness meditation. And I talk about gratitude a lot as well, and so I 100% am in agreement with you on that. But what this has allowed me to do is really take the gratitude and just soak it in, because sometimes it's easy because it can be a trendy thing to talk about is gratitude, and so people are like, thank you for this. But what you're talking about is, it has to be soaking in. And
Yeah, you have to feel it.
yeah, you
Like
have to feel it.
really,
See, and this
you
is
gotta
just
feel it, you know?
something that this app has helped me a lot with, because I grateful journal every morning, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful this for this for this for this. But this you're talking about is feeling it, and this app has helped me do that. So I love that you're talking about that, because it's the feeling of it, not just writing it. It's soaking in.
Not just writing it, right? It's just it, and what we do sometimes is we get into, let the routine not become routine.
Right. That is the whole point, is sometimes we get into a routine, and that is what I'm saying, is like, I'll journal every single day, and it makes me happy to do so. But if you have to remember to soak it in and be super grateful. I love that so much. That's
Yeah,
really
allow yourself to definitely feel that joy, feel that gratitude, and allow yourself to laugh. If you go back to that memory that you had when you were so grateful, and it kind of like lights up your heart. Just me talking about it, I
I
feel a
know.
little flutters in my
I know, I know. I feel joyous talking to you. I'm just telling you. I knew I would, though. I knew I would. I could tell. Okay, so let's talk about, because we're going to get you dinner. Let's talk about the breathing practices you talk about, because is there a certain type of breathing that we should be doing every day? I mean, I know you talk about breathing practices in the podcast,
right.
the episode I listened to. So,
Right. So I would say to those of us who are not conscious breathers, and most of us are not, is
oh,
just become aware of your breath.
become aware
Follow
of,
your breath.
because I don't
Just
feel like I'm
become,
a breather.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
so
become a more conscious breather, meaning become aware of your breath. Notice the breath literally coming into the tip of your nostrils. So bring your attention to the tip of your nostrils, the tip of your nose,
mhm,
and and notice the breath coming in and going out, right? And we can deepen the breath,
right,
right? So you see that it's once you bring your attention to the breath, you can see a shift in the breath. Naturally, what we'll do is once you bring your awareness to it, you can follow the natural flow of the breath,
okay. See, it
right?
makes me calmer. Just breathing like that
Yeah.
already just kind of makes me calmer. Is that the
That is the purpose. That
okay?
is the purpose. And what I would say, what I would invite people to do too, is to count your breaths, breathing in slowly, counting in 4 and releasing 6 or releasing 7. Sometimes I do 7-7-7, where I breathe in 7, purposely slowing the breath down,
Okay.
and breathing out 7. So let's try it,
Yeah,
right?
let's do.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's take 3 deep breaths, counting in 7 and counting out 7 very slowly.
If you're listening to this and you're driving, don't do this. But if you're, but if you
Don't
are,
close your eyes.
don't close your eyes, but breathe, because I'm telling you, it helps. It's calming me down, and not that I was stressed at all, because you actually calm me down, but just feeling it
And
feels
then
really,
releasing it. So
yeah.
taking a deep breath in, breathing in,
Yes, I love
Breathing
that.
out. And just really allowing yourself to do that. You can do that anywhere.
You know,
Any-
some people who have a hard time meditating, which a lot of people do, that could take the place for a minute, huh? In the morning, like if they did 3 deep breaths, 7 minutes
Absolutely.
in.
7 deep breaths.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
7
you just start, you start continuation. So you start with 3 deep breaths, counting 7 and
I like
releasing
that.
7, Yeah.
Okay, so
Because
you
the
have,
incoming breath energizes the body. The incoming breath energizes the body. And the outgoing breath is what relaxes the body. So you ever wonder, like when you're tired or when you're frustrated, you go,
yeah, oh yeah. I haven't, but now I do. So what is that?
That's releasing. That's right. That's releasing all of the tension.
That is
It's kind of like
exactly.
an automatic mechanism. I mean, so there's a whole science of the breath. I don't know if you'd like me to go into it for like a minute.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, great, great. So the breath is
Yes.
connected to your body, your mind and your emotions, your body, your thoughts, your emotions. All of that is connected to the breath.
Yes.
So what we were just saying, if you're angry, how do you breathe?
Short. I mean, you're
Well,
not.
short of breath. Exactly. If you're sad, how do you breathe? Labored, right?
Oh, yeah.
Heavy and intense. So you can see that your emotions have a direct impact on your breath, which has a direct impact on your on your physiology.
Yes.
It
Right.
has physiological impacts, right, on you, right? And so now, if you change the rhythm of your breath, it will also have that impact on your emotions. That's why you feel calmer now, because we've taken a few deep
Wow.
breaths.
See,
So it
that's
works both
that
ways.
is so true. And that is the power of breathing that I've been hearing about. And when I was reading your on your website, I love that because you're exactly right. I mean, we do that. We don't breathe right when we're angry. We breathe short. And so many times I think a lot of people just don't get good deep breaths into their belly,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely.
And so if they can do that, then that will calm them down. It gets the stress free, it kind of gets you stress free. That is great. Yeah. And so if you breathe, you change your physiology.
It, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I know that people who've been doing their breath work and breathing practices, who've really been able to kind of like lower their high blood pressure.
Right.
It really has physiological impacts,
Wow. I love
right?
that. And we could do probably an entire episode on breathing, and maybe we will.
That's right.
Maybe we will. So you're on your podcast, the Joyous Leader podcast. You have such a calming way of teaching and helping people be like breathe to and be present. Now, do you plan to do more episodes? Because I want more.
Oh my gosh, Heidi, you're
You're
putting me right on the
like that
spot.
because I was like, okay, because you start out even just breathing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you feel calm. So do you plan to do that? You probably don't have time. I mean, you're doing 100 million things.
So, I'm actually working on a 40-day program
Oh,
now,
okay.
a 40-day system of joy. It's called the 40-day challenge. So that's coming together. And I'll tell you the story of the podcast. The podcast, I am now introducing myself to my people and really becoming, coming back in the public world, because I had growing to do. We all do.
Yes.
Right. And I had a lot of growing to do as well. And so I don't teach anything I haven't learned
Yes.
myself. Experience is the best teacher. And so,
It's so true.
um,
So
so
true.
I have to get back on there and really start the podcast again. It will be coming soon. I know I told my listeners a few months ago, hey, I dropped
Yes.
one podcast episode and I said, I'll be back.
And everybody's like, when is she coming back?
Where did she go? Where did she go? Where did she go?
Yeah.
So that's definitely something that I will be revisiting. I've been working on myself. That work never stops, and finding the balance of working on oneself, working with others, and delivering as well, and finding grace in the gap.
Yes.
I think we all need to find grace in the gap. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just like, I always, I journal every morning that there's nothing wrong. I'm exactly where I should be.
Right.
And whenever I write that down, it just kind of releases a little bit of stress in me, because as a high achiever and like ambitious person, which I know you are as well, sometimes we tend to think, oh, we got to do this, that. But then you just realize everything's working out as it should. And don't rush it. There's nothing missing. And so when I write that, it makes me feel so good. So then, all right, so we will come back. We're going to come back and do some more.
I love that you said that. I have to say that, Heidi. Can you say that again, please? I mean, so I can,
Okay.
I can fully receive it, and others as well. Like when
Okay.
you write in the morning, what do you say?
Oh, when I say to myself, I journal every morning that I am exactly where I should be. And there's nothing missing. There's no rush. There's no hurry, because what is mine is mine.
I love
And no one is, there's no one else that is going to do that, or I'm not missing anything. And everything's always working out as it should. That's
that.
what I journal that every single morning, because sometimes I tend to think I should be here by now. And we all do that. Like, I should be here and I'm not, or I should be doing this and I'm not. But that's okay, because it just means I have more work to do. Just like you said, you have more growing to do before you do this.
Right,
And
right.
that's what everybody, I think, would benefit from knowing and learning and just like melting into, is that you are exactly where you should be. And if you're not somewhere, it just means you're not ready.
You're not right, and you're not there, and it's okay.
You're not
Seasons
gonna do
change.
it. It just means you're not
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, and just be in different, and sometimes you're ready. It's just not the season.
Right.
Right,
That's
because
exactly
different
right.
projects come in, and I think
That's
for
very
me,
fair.
it's like it's the season is different,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
However, I love my listeners. I love them. So
I know
I
they
know
love you.
I know they're waiting. I know they're waiting to
Well,
say, listen, what's happening?
yeah.
I've gotten a few DMs like, what's going on? So it is coming, working on some big projects for everyone. But I love that you said that. You've spoken like a true coach, Heidi.
Oh my
You're
goodness.
exactly where you should be.
I always say that, like, I'm not a life coach, but my husband was like, you coach a lot. But I just love growing and learning, and I love getting people to feel like they can do anything. And if they're inspired to do something, they should do it. And if they are having a hiccup, they should hire a coach.
Yeah.
Like the Joyous Leader International, something like that. So now, how do we get in touch with you if we want to work with you? And at some point, I'd like to learn more about the 40-day challenge. How would people be able to find you? I know you say Instagram is kind of your hobby, which is where I found you, but
Yes.
so
So definitely follow me on Instagram, Joyous Leader. Visit my website, joyousleader.com, and anyone can actually book me right on joyousleader.com, just for a 30-minute self-discovery conversation, or Joyce discovery conversation. Discover your joy for
yeah.
30 minutes, and we'll chat to see where you are and to see if I'm the right coach for you. I may not be.
Yeah, no, it could
You
be.
know?
It could be, but well, that's wonderful, and I have enjoyed talking to you so much. What one last thing, and this is a question that I kind of ask a couple different things to everyone, and this is when I always get great feedback from. But what advice would you give to yourself when you were just starting out? This is something I always am so surprised by the answers I get. So, do you have advice for yourself if you were just starting out?
If I were just starting out, where I am now, I would say find grace in the gap.
Find gays. Yeah,
Find grace in the
that
gap.
is actually a really beautiful thing, because we all have gaps.
Yeah, find grace in the gap, and know that it's okay. Whatever is yours will be. And
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. I think, it's funny, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, I have some advice for myself.
Yeah,
you
give
know,
her
really,
some advice.
yeah, really believe that, do what you can do.
Yeah, I
And
love that. And okay, so that's beautiful. And we will, I'll put joyousleader.com in the show notes so that they'll have it right there. And I will also put your Instagram handle on there so that they can follow you there. But I have enjoyed this more than you know, and you're probably dying of starvation. Like, I wish this.
I'm all good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You know what happens when you connect with such a beautiful soul like you, Heidi?
Oh,
It's just, you're feeding me right now. You're just giving me so much. Maybe once we get off this call, I have to go eat, because then all the pangs of hunger will come back.
Right. Now they'll come. Right now you're not thinking about them. Well, this has been so much fun, and I thank you so much for honoring me by coming on my podcast, and I cannot wait to get to talk to you again, and this has been so much fun.
Oh, thank you so much, Heidi. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
We'll talk again.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, because we're just going to keep going bigger and better places together, and I love that about us. Talk to you in a few days.